get this interview started, man?
Yeah, ready.
All right. When did you start playing?
I started playing at 12 years old. I grew up in the church. My parents literally carried me to church when I was a baby. So grew up in the church, and when I was about 7 or 8, I started when you were allowed to leave your parents' side during church, because during church you can't move. But when you're allowed to sit where you want to sit, I always chose the front seat of the church because that's where the band was. And, knocking on bench backs or playing the guitar on a bench back eventually turned into me um, being able to like sit where they are. So like started out normally in the pew, then moved up to the front. Then the musicians acknowledged my interest, saw me doing those stuff, and then they said, "All right, come sit with us." And just being in that circle allowed me to pick up a few things until my grand uncle sent me my first guitar at 12 years old. And I have it to this day.
Wow, that's so cool. What kind of guitar is it?
It was a silver tone, but I actually call it silver stone. It was a black and white.
It's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
I don't know. Yeah, but it's a silver tone, black
Okay.
and white, double cut electric. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. So how did you
Mhm.
come up with the band name Aristotle the Great, or your performer name Aristotle the Great?
Well, fun fact, that's actually my name. It's on my birth certificate. So
Cool.
my father gave me all of those names because there's a family history of passing down names, but he didn't have a good history with his father. So the name I was about to get was the name his father gave to him. And he just decided he didn't want to pass down that negative energy to me. So he gave me some really solid names, and one of them was Aristotle.
That's fascinating, man. That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Also, doing my research, Aristotle taught Alexander the Great. So
Yes, he
then I was
did.
like, well, if he taught Alexander the Great, then he himself must also be great. Hence, Aristotle the Great.
That's brilliant. I love that. It's
I respect.
such a catchy name. It really gets people's attention. And I love the logo too. It's very cool that you have. Anyway, you want to talk more? How long have you been playing together with your band for? Like, when did your band
Uh,
form? How'd you come up with the name? That kind of stuff.
yeah, most definitely. Well, first of all, I know the band I did the live performance with. I dropped on January of this year, January 1st. I know those band members from they were at the high school I teach. So I used to teach a few of them. But we were also in charge of like devotions in the morning. So we already had that bond of carrying instruments together, playing at different places. We did a performance in Mandeville a few years back. That's also on my YouTube page. So it was natural to just say, oh, if I'm taking on the music scene seriously, who better to do it with than these people who I already have a musical bond with? And so the rehearsals were sticky because COVID lockdown, and we were out of it for a bit, but it really didn't take that long for us to just click back into a certain groove. As for the village, I'm from Mandeville, Manchester, which is a scene that most Jamaicans don't really look for music to come from because Mandeville is known to be a place where most people retire and go to. So there's not a lot that really goes on in Mandeville. It's pretty quiet, it's pretty cool. But we try to change that up. So I personally want to put Mandeville on the map. I really want to make people know that, yeah, decent music can come from Mandeville here. So they decided to be with me. So the village.
Very cool. That's very fascinating, man. I like that.
Yeah. I'm also, well, the village is really the name of the music group that we're trying to come up with. In the immortal words of DJ Khaled, start a label, run it, sign yourself. So that's what myself, Fabian Titus, and Shane Williams did. Big up Fabian Titus, another awesome artist who decided he wanted to also be part of the movement. He really didn't have to. He was fine on his own, but the fact that he saw that we really want to make something out of Mandeville. He agreed to partner with us. Shane Williams is my manager. Also a really great sound engineer. Big up Shane Williams anyway in the night world. So we just decided we were going to form that team, form that coalition with whatever resources we had at our fingertips and just do some different things. But the music scene over here is pretty violent. So our type of music, we try not to push that violence. We try to speak on other topics.
Wow, really? That's good.
Yeah.
That's good that you guys are doing that. That's crazy that it is. So where do you guys record your tracks at? Your band? Where does your band record?
Well, home studios for now, honestly. But the band, whenever we have performances, we rehearse at Step by Step, which is another great band in Mandeville. They play for Cocoa mostly. But after the rehearsals, Shane Williams worked with GT Sounds, GT Studios, another prominent production house in Jamaica, really. So they had a studio. They just set up a studio, and pretty much we were one of the first performances to
Wow.
like perform in the studio. Yeah. So basically, we've become such good friends that if we decide we're gonna do something, then fine. But generally, if we decide we're gonna put out anything else, I'm the type of artist who likes to find weird places to record. So I'm into performances. So I'm planning a performance for this summer coming up. So any other tracks coming from the band, it would be video footage of us playing or performing in a particular area, some scenic place in Jamaica.
Really? Nice, man. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, respect.
Totally, totally. So if anyone is interested in buying your music or streaming your music, where can they stream it from?
Well, so far all the music that I have is basically everywhere: Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, um, everywhere, Pandora. But anytime I'm dropping new music, it's always dropped on Audio Mac first and
Oh,
then distributed. Because with Audio Mac, I can drop it now and I'm sure it drops now. But it takes a while for the systems to really distribute our music. So we start on Audio Mac. That's the main page we drop new music from, and then we still distribute it to the other platforms.
that's really cool. That's really cool. You want to talk more about AudioMac for the viewers? They probably never heard of it.
Oh, well, AudioMac is a free streaming website. It's much like Spotify. It has a lot of the music that is around now. One of the reasons I choose to drop my music on AudioMac though is that they have been doing some work with some Jamaican artists. They have a series called Bless the Yard where they just have Jamaican artists pretty much doing an open mic version of some of their songs, and I appreciate that about AudioMac. They're not paying me to say any of this,
That's
but I
great.
actually appreciate the fact that AudioMac looked into Jamaica and did that. So, and who knows, one day I would not be against ending up on something like that. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I decided to work with AudioMac.
That's very good to know. We might try that. That sounds great for putting the Soundwave playlist. Would you recommend that?
Yeah, most definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. Do you plan on releasing any other new music videos to go with your music? We saw that other one. Really great choreography you had there with the camera and the angles. It was wonderful.
Yeah, respect. That's Fabian Titus and myself shooting those videos. So, really talented videographer. As for music videos, though, looking forward to the end of the year where videos are concerned. What I'm concentrating on is dropping singles and doing performances since the place has now opened up. So, since I've dropped some songs last year, started dropping songs from last year summer up to now. So I just want to start sensitizing as much people as possible as to what those songs are, because I'm still proud of those songs. I still think a lot of people haven't heard them as yet. So in terms of more music videos, they're probably more to the end of the year. But for now, it's singles, performances, the whole works. And we're trying to get footage of all of it. So definitely stay posted to the YouTube page.
Outstanding.
d.vill-edge.
Did you hear that,
Yeah.
folks? New stuff coming. Stay in the wings. Plan for it. Be awesome. All right. Thank you for telling us that. Viewers are very excited. Where did your band find the unique musical sound you guys have?
Well, truthfully, we're in the experimental stage. And I say that because I don't consider myself a dancehall artist. I don't consider myself a reggae artist. As most people think, once you are a Jamaican artist, you have to stick to one of those things. Marky, we have that in our blood, in our genes, and I love those genres. But as someone who's musically inclined, certain genres help to accentuate certain stories better. So hip hop has a place to talk about certain stories that reggae and dancehall can't, in a way that's pretty solid. Versus there are some ways to express feelings through reggae. So whichever I feel at the time, that's what we're gonna do. And I have a versatile band that is so talented that they can also adjust to the genre, which is it's very rare to find that in musicians. I mean, it's one thing to play reggae, but it's another thing to stick to the uniqueness of reggae, not to overdo it, to know what goes where, to properly compose it. And so I'm working with a team that's definitely versed in that, which is why I'm not limited to, or I try not to limit myself to a genre. I'm a Jamaican artist, full stop.
Fascinating. Very fascinating. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, respect.
How did you capture the guitar sound in one of your tracks, the one that we recently heard?
Well, Burn or Break, that track was built by me. I do tracks. I play more than one instrument. So Fabian Titus was the producer, but all the instruments that are there, I laid them myself.
Outstanding.
So it was pretty much home studio. Yeah.
It sounded great. It sounded great. What kind of gear do you guys use to create your tracks?
Well, the guitar that was used on Burn or Break is a Gretsch. It's the slim body. It's a Gretsch Core ME80 guitar processing board. Focusrite audio interface. And then Fabian Titus uses, he prefers Studio One. I'm a Logic guy at heart. So we just compare what we have and use that overall. But mostly it's from electronic devices, because I look forward to now playing over those already made beats with live music, which I think is a completely different experience. And that's why performance is so dear to my heart.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That's some good
Yeah,
gear you
respect.
got there too.
Yeah, respect.
So what other activities do you enjoy participating in besides playing music with your band?
Well, personally, I am a teacher. That's what I do when I'm not rocking the stage.
Respect.
So, yeah, I teach math and physics. But when I'm not in work mode, I generally just love Jamaica for what it is. Even though I'm also a bit of an introvert. Not even a bit, okay? I am an introvert, so it's rare, but Mandeville will do that to you. However, being that type of introvert, when I do go out, wherever I choose to go at that time, it's such a great experience, because now I'm able to soak up everything that's going on, the interaction with the people, which are great. The places here in Jamaica, it can be as simple as a river and it will feel like paradise. So yeah, I'm mostly a homebody, but when I do go, it's a great experience. So I like going out.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So you're talking about playing other instruments. What other instruments do you play?
All right, so I play the guitar, the bass, the keyboard or piano. I play the drums. I started the saxophone, and I
Nice.
consider my voice an instrument. So yeah, I sing.
That's awesome. What kind of saxophone?
Actually, I didn't reach that far. My friend Adrian Allen at the time, he was supposed to finish teaching me, but the most I learned was 3 notes. And I still think that's an instrument I am going to master. It's just we know how expensive those instruments are. And also based off of what I'm doing now, I just want to solidify what I have. But yeah, if you see me playing a saxophone sometime in the future, don't be surprised.
That is so cool. I've always wanted to learn one of those. I just haven't had the time. Those are so cool.
Yeah, it takes a while, but they are cool for real. Big up to Adrian Allen, wherever and then.
You ever heard of Kenny G?
Of course, General. Trust me, Jamaica, you see, you got to certain dances and play Kenny G. Yeah, man. Play smash up, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. He's phenomenal with that stuff. Love to hear you
Yeah,
play that stuff someday like him. That would just be wonderful.
working on it.
So, what's the best advice you've been given in your musical journey so far?
Yeah, the best advice I've been given is not to try to fit in. That's something I struggled with throughout my entire life. I was always trying to fit in whatever group I was in from high school, as early as high school, or even before. But then I learned that my greatest advantage is that I don't fit in. I have a tendency to stand out. But I used to be ashamed of that as an individual because in society you would want to, find a group. Everybody wants to find a birds of a feather to flock together. But that was the best advice I ever got, to not be afraid or ashamed of the fact that you stand out and just play to that strength. So the start of Open Mic, which is a song I did with SOS, there was a monologue there that I was telling SOS that I was actually talking to my wife at the time. And she was saying, yeah, Jamaica is a place that you can walk out the road and you will find an artist. Like it's a melting pot of talent. So why are you so confident that you're gonna do the music? And I was like, well, I'm me. And I'm not the best guitarist, I'm not the best pianist, but I'm the best version of me. And since there won't be any other versions of me, that's what I have going for me. So uniquely Jamaican, uniquely Aristotle.
That's great. That's great advice. Yeah, uniqueness is key.
Yeah, for real.
All right. Well, if you want to play something, you can, like on your phone or something, a track of yours, or we can end it here. This has been a wonderful interview. Thank you so much for your time.
So I did a song in January of this year with Pablo George, the Afrobeat god. Big up Pablo George, wherever he is. It's called Sunday Evening, and the beat is made by me. So I really want y'all to check that out and check out Pablo George, awesome artist. Well, we made a song called Sunday Evening, so listen to that and give us your feedback.
Another Sunday evening home alone. On the shed.
Aristotle?
I'm typical. She's not home, she's out eating sweet ice cream and cake. Why I'm home alone, this feeling can't be my fate. Is she loving someone or is it just be herself? I never had no business to be caught in her spells. In a state to a call, but I'd rather hello my baby. Be a shelf my thoughts, is what I ponder lately. Don't I fear my past, I said goodbye so clearly. Now say you're shady, you're just a little crazy. Just a little crazy. I bring you all my love, baby, just take it. She's not home, she's out eating sweet ice cream and cake. Why I'm home alone, this feeling can't be my fate. Is she loving someone or is it just be herself? I never had no business to be caught in a spell.
Two things, I see blue ticks. She left me on red. Clueless, why would she do this? It was going so well. Interrupt from a lock eyes and the numbers exchange like a bank of can be your finance debt change. We consolidating, started out as a plating, met the ratings, no related danger source. Where we phone a blow up, battery sign a show up, charger show up. On the table, plug the cable in and leave the check to see the shit. I really need it seen. Hey, you know, since I'm not feeling for you. In the Sunday evening, I would have want to really see you. I don't think you know I love yet until I be revealing for you. But
eating sweet ice cream and cake. Why I'm home alone, this feeling can't be my fate. Is she loving someone or is it just be herself? I never had no business to be caught in a spell.
Please don't be distracted from your destiny. If there is someone else, they ain't as great as me. If you are somewhere else, you're missing out on me. Yeah, you're missing out on me. Please don't be distracted from your destiny. If there is someone else, they ain't as great